What up, what up? Welcome in everybody to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday turned out to be a good day for myself. MLB, I did go 1-1, and college football was not good. I went 0-3 in college football, but those college football, I bet everything 1%. So it was not as big of a loss. I know I'm still 22-13 on the season after that 0-3 day there, but Lynx was a 3% winner for me, plus 6.5. They won outright. Then the NFL, we talked a lot about that 49ers game. Had the 49ers first half, minus 2.5. 49ers full game, minus 3.5. Took them on the money line. And so 3-0 in the NFL. I didn't get there with Mark's play on the first half team total, only because it went up. And then I just stayed off. But we had a really good read on that Niners game. So overall profitable day. And we have Mr. Rob Veno here once again to help us out with Friday and the weekend slate. Rob, good to have you here. How's everything been for you?
It's good, Skee. It's been a good week so far. We hope to keep it rolling. Had a 4-1 last night. Now 4-0 in college football this week, Tuesday through Thursday. 2 winners last night. Western Kentucky, team total over 37. Got there rather easily. And the first half over with James Madison in Coastal Carolina. That was 30.5. They had 35, I think, by halftime. Really with like about 7 minutes left in the second quarter. They already had 35. NFL, I had a winner as well, but I was on the other side of you guys. I had total. You and I talked a little bit about that 49 number the other day. I bet it. Last 3 minutes make you look like a genius because it got to 60, but it was, you need a little work to get there, to get that over. I was cursing Geno out a little bit along the way in Seattle. Touchdowns called back. MLB, I had a winner with the Cleveland Guardians. Nice home run to win that game, 5-4. And you know what? The only loss, what prevented me from 5-0, Skee, was that first half total. Lynx and Liberty, I had the over 80.5. And it got to 80. They left me hanging.
I saw that. I was like, damn, it looked so good in the first quarter. And then until it didn't.
Until it didn't, right? Exactly. But what a comeback by Minnesota. That was a nice job by them.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the WNBA as well. But let's get to it. We got a few things to talk about. Not the most time in the world. So we'll start off with MLB today. That looks like Padres and Dodgers. Dodgers extended it. They still have life, Veno. And now we'll see Yamamoto. He's on the mound versus Yu Darvish. And last time Yamamoto just saw the Padres, he did get hit. I want to say, what did he go? 3 innings? My bad. I have it here. Yeah, 3 innings, gave up 5 runs. So that's not something that you would like. But in general, in his last few starts outside of that one Colorado one at home, he's been damn good. And I think, we've seen, what do we just see? We saw Cole versus Walker, right? The first game, they both got smacked. They come back and throw a beautiful game the other day. I think that's what we can get here, like as far as Yamamoto bouncing back. And it's a big game, the 2 Japanese pitchers dueling it out. I know that we can trust Darvish. He's been good versus the Dodgers. He's been trustworthy in general. And I think that the Padres bullpen also trustworthy. And I want to say Dodgers bullpen, except for one game this series, they've been okay. I'm thinking under 8 for the full game. Also was considering first 5, but I think I like the entirety of the game because there's still a slight question mark if Yamamoto gives it up in the beginning of the game like he has a couple times. So under 8, I think, is what I would prefer. How do you see this game, Veno?
Yeah, where total is concerned, I would prefer the same way, full game rather than first 5. Dodgers, obviously the reverse happened with them, right? They didn't touch Darvish first time around in this series, but they have one time this season already. So you have to wonder, seeing him twice within 5 days, will they get to him a little bit here too? So I think your point about bullpens being trustworthy, Dodgers ran 8 arms out there for 9 innings the other night. They were pretty trustworthy, shutout ball. and a day off for both bullpens, so nobody exerted on either side. We know Padres bullpen has been lights out. So if I was going to play total, I'd agree with you. I think under the 8 is probably the way I'd go. And a lot of guesswork involved here. We just kind of described it. Maybe Yamamoto gets hit. Maybe second time around after seeing him, Darvish gets hit. You just don't, I don't like to venture into guesswork. So side is a little questionable for me. I do think LA put some momentum on their side with that 8-0 win the other day without Freddie Freeman in the lineup. But the old saying goes, momentum's only as good as the next day's starter. And I don't know. You could say good things about both. You could have question marks about both. Didn't play it yet, Skee. If I was going to play it, I'd be on the side you're on, which is under the 8 runs, and look for a pretty tight battle between these two. The offenses are scary, but I think the arms in this series have really come out and proven to be pretty solid.
All right, love that we can line up a little bit on this game here. Haven't placed it yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting to the window with that, either that full game under or first 5 under, and I'm liking full game more at the current moment. So next game I want to talk about here, Veno. I know we have a lot of different sports to talk about here, but let's talk WNBA. I saw the Liberty, I think, open as a 6-point favorite. They did go up to 7, and right now you see 7.5. It continues to go up. Total open 162.5, and it's kind of sitting steady there. We know why this game is going up here, Veno. It's no secret. We see it, we see it in NBA, we see it in WNBA. They lost that first game. It's kind of like do or die. You don't want to go on the road, on the road down 0-2. That's a death sentence pretty much in the playoffs. So I do agree. We get a max effort from New York. I mean, they can play better. I think from the 3-point line, they shot well, but maybe it's the mid-range or they just weren't making their layups. Whatever the case is, the shooting percentage overall was 38, even though they shot 39% from the 3. So I do think there's some things they can do better there. It's just even I look at the situation, yes, it favors the Liberty, but 7.5 points. I mean, at some point, it's too many points. Like looking at the situation overall, I think the teams are winning these games in this situation by about 7 points per game. So the market, they're not going to let you beat them with the same thing forever. Just like in the NBA, when we have this situation, we see the first half, the full game could be -4. The first half is -3. You know what I'm saying, Veno? So in this one, I can't get there with the Liberty. I think that the Lynx, they beat them 4 times out of 5 this year. They're capable, and they won't give up, as they shown in the first game. I can't get there with the Liberty. Can you get there with them in this situation?
Oh my.
Nope, you had it one more time. There you go.
There we go. It's tough, right? You described it to a T. In playoff basketball, it's always that zigzag theory, right? Back and forth, especially when you've lost the first game at home and you're the favorite to win the series. You really expect them to bounce back, but they make the price tag such that it gets difficult to get there. Now, the one thing I will say about the Liberty is they came out yesterday pretty hot. They won the first half by 8 points. They won the first quarter by, I think, 13. So maybe early, Skee, if you really want to trust the Liberty, maybe you get their first quarter -2, thinking that they're upset with what they did the other night. But I will say this, and I want to get myself – it's hard because I got burnt 3 times on the Liberty Aces series and then finally got there the 4th time. But I kept trying under because of the defensive ability, and it kept going over. Last night would have been over without overtime. They got over in regulation. But they allowed Minnesota. Again, Minnesota's been a great shooting team all season long. 50% from the floor last night, 40% from 3. Liberty's got to do something defensively here, which makes me want to try under or Minnesota team total under. All that said, Minnesota is just so consistent, Skee. How do you bet against this team? they're the most consistent team in the WNBA. They really had no valleys this year other than the 3 games, I think, where Collier was out. Otherwise, they were a steady ship all season long. You kind of know what you're going to get from Minnesota before the game starts. They don't disappoint you in any way, shape, or form. So a lot of it's hard. We have a couple days to think about it, but really my first thought is somehow, some way, I want to get to an under, whether it be full game under, whether it be first half under, whether it be Minnesota team total under the 77.5. And it's very possible New York -2 first quarter will be the final landing spot for me because I kind of trust them early.
And situationally and how they play, I can absolutely understand that. I think I'll take a little bit more time, but I told you guys which direction I'm looking right now. Shout out my guy RC. Says just FYI, Money Baller just updated for MLB, and he did have a nice day in the WNBA yesterday. So shout out to you, RC. Pretty sure he had the over for the full game, and probably he had to have the Lynx then, right? No, he had the over. I'm pretty sure he had both. So good stuff, RC. Let's keep moving, Veno, because we don't have the most time here today. But next, we'll go to college football. And I don't have a lot of input on this one, but I don't know why I can't find it here. There we go. Penn State and USC. So I can't find the opener. That's what I'm looking at here on the list. But we're looking at USC plus 3.5, a total of 50.5. I want to say I saw the opener at 5, and everybody is taking Penn State here. Do you agree that the dog is live in this game, or how are you looking to attack it?
I would think that I would look more toward the home team here if I was betting side. Skee, it's a cross-country travel trip that's unusual for Penn State. Obviously, the Big Ten with all these crazy travel schedules now. Number that we released on the college football kickoff today show on Wagertalk yesterday. Travel teams that have gone through 2 time zones so far this year in the Big Ten, 2-8 against the spread, at least 2 time zones. So, UCLA is not used to going to Rutgers. Washington's not used to going cross country. All this stuff is sort of turned up losses. And that's interesting because this is still early in the year. The cold weather hasn't hit in the East yet. And these teams are still going to be crisscrossing the country. So something to look out for inside the Big Ten where travel is concerned. But I choose to play this game total. I'll give you a number here. Came courtesy of our friend and colleague, Ralph Michaels, about 3 weeks ago, who gave me this. Lincoln Riley, USC's head coach, as a head coach in his career, whether it be East Carolina, whether it be Oklahoma, whether it be now at USC, he's 51-30 over the total. It's about 63% over the total. Better than that, he's 7-1 over the total when it's priced less than 58, which is what we have here. We have 50.5. Last week was the very first time a Lincoln Riley team lost or stayed under a 58 total when they played Minnesota and got the 24-17. A couple of things that could have changed in that game that could have helped it. But here, Skee, I have to say, I think it's going to get over 50.5. I'm going to follow this trend. And you know me, I'm not big on technicals. I don't base a lot of handicaps on technicals. And there's other stuff for me that goes with this number. But he is an over coach. I think that the last 2 games in a row played by USC, by Penn State, sort of, I think people tend to look at it like this, Skee. I'll say it this way. Penn State couldn't score more than 27 against UCLA, couldn't score more than 21 against Illinois. I kind of look at it as Illinois, if they could, they would take 5 minutes to run a play. They're 91st in tempo, very slow, no possessions in a game. That's why you can't score a lot of points. UCLA, if they could take 10 minutes to run a play, they would do it. They're number 123 in tempo. So Penn State got stuck in those snail-like games, still got the 21 or 27 in both. USC is not going to play that way. We know that. They play more wide open. They throw the football around. Penn State's comfortable with that. They can do the same. They have the weaponry to do the same. And I will add this to it. USC, when they played when they played Minnesota last week and the game before that, they knew that the opposite side was going to run the football at them, and they couldn't stop it. I think last week USC gave up like last 2 weeks they've given up like 6 yards a pop running the football, knowing that the run is coming, that the opponents couldn't throw the football. Penn State will run it at them and then throw it as well. I think it's a bad matchup. And I'll add to it that I think the USC passing game is a bad matchup for Penn State. Penn State's played 5 teams so far this year, Skee. The best team they faced, the best passing offense they faced is Bowling Green. Bowling Green is like 52nd in passing. The other 4 teams are 80th or worse. This is USC with Miller Moss. So I just, that total seems very low to me based on early season results, not necessarily the matchup. I think we know, or at least I kind of handicap towards styles make games. I think these styles, these matchups indicate we can see 27-24. That's all we need to cash the ticket.
All right, Veno likes points in this one, and the market has been going that way as well. And I misspoke earlier. It opened Penn State -5, and it was USC getting the money as a dog. I think I said Penn State was a dog, so I just wanted to correct that. Let's move over to NFL, Veno, and man, you got. I don't know how you pick the games you like to talk about, Veno. I think you look for the dirty dogs, like how I look for the dirty dogs or the dirty games, like how I look for the ones in NBA. But we have Colts and Titans, and man, the Colts are really banged up still, if I'm not mistaken. I'm be honest with you, Veno. This is one of the games I didn't even spend 5 minutes trying to handicap this week. I just threw it out. So I'll ask you, are the Titans rightfully favored in this game? Are the Colts that banged up? What do you think about Colts at Titans?
Well, I'm going to be honest too, Skee, since we're all about transparency on these games. I didn't give this thing 5 seconds worth of thought until Wagertalk said, hey, you need to do a single game video on Indianapolis, Tennessee. And then I was forced to dig in and see what I could find. So I found some stuff. And last week with our dirty play was the Broncos team total over 8.5, and they did get 34. So we got paid on that nonsense. But let's look here, because this is a difficult game, right? First of all, you start with the Indianapolis quarterback situation. Is it Richardson? Is it Flacco? I think it's going to be Richardson. He's healthy. Indications are pointing that it's going to be Anthony Richardson here. Let's start at the top. It's a divisional game. AFC South, we know in the ladder of importance in the NFL, division games come first, non-divisional second, conference third, non-conference third, conference second, non-conference third. From a focus and motivation standpoint, it's important to both, but the Colts are already 0-2 inside the AFC South. To go to 0-3 is not good. Titans haven't played a division game yet. This will be their first one. The advantage they have is they're coming off a bye week. So they had time to rest, kind of get back into the film room, see what they can learn, and probably prepare for both styles, whether it be Flacco or Richardson. So if the Colts think that not announcing a starter has them on edge, trying to prepare probably is negated by the fact that Tennessee's had 2 weeks to look at both. I think that the Colts have functioned pretty well either way with either guy, right? Flacco scored points, Richardson scored points. But the Titans, yikes, Will Levis, he's going to start here. But Will Levis, I think, leads the NFL quarterbacks in most mistakes made. He's been a bad decision maker at plenty of times. We'll see if, in fact, against this particular defense, he can straighten some things out. The Colts are the worst total yardage allowed defense in the NFL. They're giving up over 400 yards per game. I think it's around 419. And if you can't move the football against them, you can't move it against anybody. Give you a quick number here, Skee, as far as Colts' ability to rush the passer is concerned. Trevor Lawrence dropped back 34 times last week against the Colts, and they pressured him 1 time. No sacks, 1 pressure. 33 times all day to stand back there and throw the football. Maybe Levis can succeed in that against that type of pass rush, but his pass protection stinks. It's the 3rd worst pass protecting group in the NFL. So you start going through this, and all you find is a bunch of weaknesses. This team's weak, but they can't exploit the other side's weakness. I think when you boil it all down, in the end, it's going to come to the point where you want the healthier team, you want the rested team, you want the home team. And I usually play the desperation factor in these divisional games because the Colts are going to give it everything they have. But you're talking about not having two starting wide receivers here. We already know Michael Pittman's out. It looks like Josh Downs is going to be out. He hasn't practiced at all this week. And then Jonathan Taylor is still a question mark. So they're short on weaponry here. They have no defense to speak of. The Titans are flawed as well. Minus less than a field goal at home. I have to side with the Titans here. And I could probably even get to some form of over because these defenses are just so bad. The Colts are giving up points like crazy. I think 3 of their games already have soared over a total like this. I think they've gone into the 50s or better. So I think I like the Titans the best, but I wouldn't be mad at anybody who likes over 43 here. The money has gone that way.
All right, I can understand why you're looking at that side there. And yeah, I absolutely would be fading the Colts or nothing. Even if we got to put a little money on Will Levis. Maybe this is the spot for him finally. So good stuff, Vino. I kind of honestly running out of time for today. I know I had less time today than usual, but we got through the games that we at least plan to talk about. So I'll move it over to best bets here, and I'll ask you if there's anything you would like to promote, and maybe out of the 4 games that we talked about, you like one as the best bet for the show.
We'll skip promotion today, Skee. I'll just say real quick, as I always say, hop over to wagertalk.com. If you're not currently a member, just drop your email address and get access to all the free stuff they have to offer over there. If you like selection packages, mine are up and available in a lot of sports this weekend. I'm going to push ahead, and I'm going to disobey the rules that say we pick a best bet from what we talked about. I'll push ahead to tomorrow. And I'll tell you what I'm on already, and what I really like is Tariq Skubal and Detroit. I don't care if they're on the road. Doesn't matter to me. As somebody who is looking forward to playing potentially the Tigers as an underdog against the Yankees, I would have hoped that Skubal didn't have to throw Game 5. That would have made him more available for more games against the Yanks, but it's not going to be that way. Still, I don't know how you can't back this guy. The price is short enough. He's been dominant. Cleveland did come up with some big hits yesterday to extend the series, but I don't think they're going to beat this guy, Skee, and Cleveland's still undecided in who they're going to throw. I like Skubal. I think the price I got was 16 cents or 17-cent favorite. It could be a little higher now, but that's what I'm going to leave you with as best bet. I really think Detroit's going to go on the road behind his left arm and win that game.
Well, Skubal's definitely made me a believer. Total, I did see at 5.5. I thought that's
wow.
It's getting interesting. It's getting low. I love a good under, but you want to make me sweat with a 5.5. Vino thinks that the Tigers can get it done, and I'll think about that game a little bit more. It does go tomorrow. For myself, I'll say really quick, you can find both of our work at Wagertalk.com. And there is a game that I like this weekend that I just came across last night, actually. And I'm thinking it's 5% worthy. So I'll very likely have a 5% play up for the weekend very shortly. Best bet, I'm going to be on with 5-star right after this. And I'm going to make a best bet or two on that show after hearing all the information between him and Vino, because he wants to talk about one game Vino talked about too. And if they both like it, I might be using that as a best bet. So appreciate you, Vino, taking the time to come on the show and break down these games with me. It's always good. I enjoy doing them with you all the time. You guys in the chat, make sure y'all hop over. I'll go live with 5-star. I know it says 11:15, but we have to go a little bit early today. So we'll be live right after this show ends, and I'll see you guys over there.